Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. Have the pleasure to be your host for the next hour, an hour and a half. And it's going to be not only a pleasure, but also a challenge for me to really moderate and host the discussions with so many distinguished guests from all over the world. You know, the Clean Hydrogen Partnership, like I already mentioned in the morning, supports a lot of research and innovation in Europe, but it doesn't work in isolation. Europe in general, but also the Clean Hydrogen Partnership. So over the years, we have developed strong collaboration with our partners from US to Japan to UK lately. And not only on bilateral terms, but also through the different intergovernmental organizations, and you will hear us talking about that, such as IPHE, International Partnership of Hydrogen into the Economy, or Mission Innovation. For that, and in doing that, we are also trying together to identify what are the common grounds for research and innovation? What are the challenges, not only in Europe, but maybe, as I said, in other parts of the world? How can we work together? I would like then to start the discussion and invite already on the stage our, like I said, and I promised to you, distinguished guests. And I would like to start with Luigi Crema, President of Hydrogen Europe Research. Luigi, please. Then Dr. Sunita Satyapal. She's the director for the United States Department of Energy, Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Technologies Office. Piero Venturi, director of Clean Hydrogen Mission of the Mission Innovation and also European Commission representative. Pere Margalef, Valldeperez, chair of the Technical Leaders Industry Representative, Hydrogen Europe. Luis Umanzor Hernandez, Industrial Development Officer at United Development Office, UNIDO. Steph, Clean Hydrogen Mission Lead, Department for Energy Security and Net Zero in the United Kingdom. And Eiji Ohira-san, Strategy Architect, Hydrogen and Ammonia Department, New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization, NEDO in Japan. Ladies, gentlemen, really a pleasure, great pleasure to have you all here and to go through this extremely interesting, I will say, already conversation. So I would like to first start by giving you the floor for 2-3 minutes. And if you would like to introduce yourself, what are you doing? How research and innovation on hydrogen is important for the place you are working on or you are leading on. And then I will get to some more interesting, I will say, questions. Luigi.
Thank you, Mirela. I'm coming from one of the 3 legs of the Clean Hydrogen Partnership from Hydrogen Europe Research. I'm representing an association with more than 160 universities, research technology centers from Europe. Of course, we believe that research is fundamental to keep competitiveness on the industrial sector, to produce more efficient, more performant technologies, reducing the costs, accelerating the deployment to the industrial sector, and of course, even giving a better sustainability profile. Research is even involved in developing the skills that are necessary to the sector without having here a major bottleneck for the scaling up of the hydrogen sector. And of course, there are some important topics that are necessary on the research through the international collaboration. For example, a topic related to the use and reduction of critical raw materials that are probably coming from some specific sources and put at risk maybe developing the full-scale sector. For example, on electrolyzers, use of iridium is one critical point when the market is becoming at full scale, maybe in terms of cost and availability. So research is a circular loop, should have a circular approach. At the end of a loop, we have new technologies to develop for the second round, and this is going from when humans have started to think about things, and this will never end because research will keep competition again to new frontiers. As said even in other events, 35% of technologies that are necessary to come to net zero from the International Energy Agency are not yet discovered. So this is an important role and motivation to continuing to support research.
Thank you very much, Luigi. Dr. Satyapal, Sunita, so happy to have you here with us. I was really looking forward to hear from you and from the United States Department of Energy. Is it working?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, so first of all, Mirela, a huge thank you. It's great to be here, and but I just flew in today, so it's a long flight. And for those, and I see many familiar faces here. So I'm the director for the Hydrogen and Fuel Cell Technologies Office from the U.S. Department of Energy, and have been there more than 21 years, and also in industry, so many decades in hydrogen and fuel cells, and we've had strong collaboration directly with the U.S. and EU for many, many years, and then also with IPHE, IEA, Mission Innovation, Clean Energy Ministerial, just everything, breakthrough agenda.
Yes.
So I would say that, and then thank you again for hosting, and it's great to see all the interest in hydrogen in terms, and we have a really comprehensive portfolio, so from research, basic research, all the way to end use, commercialization. But since this is focused on the research and innovation, I would say that one of the highest priorities is really to get the cost of hydrogen, clean hydrogen down, because we see lots of interest. We all know offtake is such a huge priority, and we have subsidies, tax credits in the near term, but if we don't get the cost down, it's not going to be sustainable. We won't have sustainable market penetration. But then also, hydrogen is very challenging, as many of you in the field know, so we also have work going on to reduce the cost of delivery and storage and dispensing. We're talking about stations. Heavy-duty trucks is a big focus for us. And then energy storage and so forth, the supply chain. And then, of course, the end uses as well. So there are different components, fuel cell cost reduction. We have near, midterm, and long-term goals. And so in the long term, for instance, non-PFAS materials is an area of R&D, reducing platinum group metals, iridium. We just launched, for the first time ever, a recovery recycling consortium for about 65 million to look at the end of life. How do we recover iridium, platinum for electrolyzers and fuel cells? And so there's just so many areas of research and innovation. And then just with our funding alone, from the DOE side, we have over about 1,080 patents, so issued patents, commercial technologies. One other area that we really need more help on for any developers out there is sensors, so being able to detect low concentrations of hydrogen. We just announced about 20 million of new projects, another 8 million, and we did a joint workshop as well with JRC and EU on that. So many areas. I'll pause there, but thanks again for the invitation.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Piero, really a pleasure to get you recently as a director of the Clean Hydrogen Mission.
Yes, I joined the Clean Hydrogen Mission just a few months ago, and I have to say that is really a challenging experience. I'm very glad to be with all of you. I have to say that this month I've been really a crash course to learn more and more about what you are doing in the hydrogen world. But well, let's say two words about mission innovation, because Well, I do something that my director used to do. Raise hand who knows something about mission innovation.
Yeah, voila.
Well, let's say 10%. Well, let's spend 1 minute to say about mission innovation. Mission Innovation is a fantastic platform that is joining 23 countries all over the world, the key players on clean energy. And, well, together we work together, creating synergies, developing new areas of common research, and among them we have 7 missions. Among them, 3 years ago, we started the Clean Hydrogen mission that is co-led by the European Commission. And then I'm very glad to have here on stage with me 2 of the colleagues, US and Steph, UK. So we are doing an essential job, basically on 3 pillars. The first one is research and innovation, where we try to work together, identify key priorities, and try to select areas where we really can give a special input with our common work. The second one is the idea to set up the full chain from the production, transport, storage, till end use and hydrogen valleys of all the hydrogen. And in this way, we identified, together with the very valuable job of a joint undertaking, we identified hydrogen valleys where we can focus, where we can work together with the others. And the last point is the idea to scale up our hydrogen economy. And to do this, we need to focus both on the well-developed countries, what we can call in the northern hemisphere, but also to focus on the global south. And on this purpose, we are working together also with the other partners, with the other co-leads of the mission that are Australia and Chile, to identify their priorities. And I also would say that it's an important job what we are doing specifically on skills.
Yeah, can we have the video to complement Piero? Thank you.
Clean Hydrogen Mission produced a very nice video, and Steph has to take all the credits for this. And well, here we have the video.
One of the great challenges we face today is the need to transition from fossil fuels we have relied upon so heavily in the past towards cleaner fuels to reduce greenhouse gas emission and keep 1.5 centigrade in reach. Part of this solution is clean hydrogen. Together with energy from renewables, we have the potential to transform the way we do industry, travel, and heating.
A hydrogen valley is a large-scale flagship project which demonstrates part of or a whole clean hydrogen ecosystem, usually formed by several collaborating companies and organizations. Hydrogen valleys contribute to regional development, job creation, and economic growth. They involve local communities, making them essential for a viable hydrogen economy. Hydrogen valleys are not just about technology. They represent a vision for a sustainable future. Their success depends on collaboration, innovation, and supportive policies. The Clean Hydrogen Mission makes sure that their impact is felt far beyond their geographical boundaries through knowledge exchange and the online Hydrogen Valleys platform, showcasing examples from around the world.
The Clean Hydrogen Mission of Mission Innovation is a coalition of international governments and organizations with a focus on increasing the cost competitiveness of clean hydrogen by stimulating research, development, and innovation, demonstrating hydrogen technology and preparing the ground for the scale-up of the hydrogen economy. The changes we see in our climate are telling us we need to transform this fast. But how can we accelerate our technological advancement to the level we need? We believe that hydrogen valleys form an important part of this process.
Find out more at hve.eu. And
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Piero, for sharing this with us. I'm very happy to see how the Hydrogen Valley idea has spread over the world. We'll get to that. We'll discuss about that and how important is that we will use this tool, innovative concept, if I can say that, to really get hydrogen closer to the regions, to the citizen. Pere, happy to have industry with us, in addition to all governments here. What would be, from your side, your opinion about R&I and industry? I mean, you are coming from Snam.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mirela. Yeah, so I will touch briefly on the two hats that I have here. And as you can see on the screen, I'm the chair of the technical committees of the joint undertaking for the JU. And I've been doing this for a couple of years. On the other side, my day-to-day work is the director of the Decarbonization Technologies at Snam. And Snam is the Italian TSO. We are in charge of the transport of gas and in charge of also building the new infrastructure to bring hydrogen from North Africa all the way to Germany. And that's our backbone project. But if I focus for a second on the first hat that I'm wearing today as a TC leader, I would like to underscore the tremendous job of the JU and all the work they are doing every year to try to manage literally tens and tens of millions of euros to research and innovation. So our role as technical committee leaders, what we do every year, we work with the JU and we make sure that we bring and we express what are the technology gaps that have to be covered with this research and innovation funding. So we meet every year, many times, we do gap analysis, and we propose priorities for the following year, and then we, all the way with the draft leaders, and it's a lot of people involved in this process, we work until we have final calls that are published normally in January, and in this year will be the UP25, January 25, will publish the new set of calls for research. And as I said, we're managing every year between 90 and 120 million euros. So it's a very important work that the JU is doing, and the industry and the European Commission, but the industry, we need to make sure that all this funding, all this research is used properly, so we spend and we focus on the gaps. Now, from the Snam side, my job is to, our job, me and my team, is to build the Snam of the future. We know that the natural gas business is going down. It has to go down. We cannot continue with fossil fuels. That means that we need a new infrastructure that can take multiple molecules and they can decarbonize all the different sectors of the economy. That's why we work very, very actively on the hydrogen infrastructure and also on carbon capture and storage, because there is not a single solution. Of course, hydrogen is a main priority. We are working now with the Backbone project, which will bring, it's a 3,000 kilometers pipeline that will bring hydrogen from Algeria all the way to Germany. This project will be finished in around 10 years. But on top of that, on top of the infrastructure, one of the things I think, and we think at Snam it's very important, is that we work with the upstream and downstream sectors. Because midstream is very important only if there is an upstream and downstream. That's why we're building platforms to help entrepreneurs, to help disruptors, basically prove and demonstrate their technologies in our infrastructure. That's why we're building testing facilities within our infrastructure, for instance, to prove technologies to make hydrogen from biogas, biomethane, but also working on a different testing platform to test and prove membranes to purify hydrogen and to separate hydrogen from other molecules. And then the last thing before I pass the microphone, I think it's very important that we understand that these times where innovation was a closed thing and no one wanted to share anything, I think these times are over. It is time for open innovation, which is a buzzword that everyone is talking about, but really open innovation, what means is we need to open up and we need to share and we need to de-risk all these investments because we're all together in this and we have to do it together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pere, for your view. Now if I can go into the developing world, and I would like to get to you, Mr. Omazor Hernandez. What can you tell us from the side of UNIDO?
Hello,
Yeah,
can you hear me?
yeah.
All right. Well, hello everyone, and thank you for the introduction. My name is Luis Omansor. I work at the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. We are based in Vienna, and we are one of the UN agencies specialized on industrial development, and we are trying to support our member states on getting their industries up and running, but in a sustainable way. And this is all, let's say, enclosed in the Sustainable Development Goal number 9. However, we also work on energy and other aspects regarding the Sustainable Development Goals to help the countries hopefully reach them. As part of UNIDO, I am located in the Climate Technologies and Partnerships Division, and within our division we have the Global Hydrogen Program for Industry. And what we want to do within our program is to support the countries in their uptake of hydrogen. Since the very beginning, when we were started to get approached by our member states, there was a lot of interest on hydrogen, but they were not so sure where they should go. So our role was to try to provide some guidance, and one of the things that we are really happy to promote is the local application of hydrogen. And this is where we also start engaging with different partners that we have here. We have Breakthrough, we have the Hydrogen Europe, the Clean Hydrogen Mission, the mission. Everyone, I think in this room, we have at some point touch base. And then the idea is that we help them through different kind of activities. At global level, we do Global 4 activities, events, develop knowledge products. One of those knowledge products is guidelines for for green hydrogen industrial clusters, which was based a little bit on the work that it's being done currently on hydrogen valleys. So we approached several hydrogen valleys, clusters, oases, and tried to define a step-by-step guide on how to build or, let's say, transform these clusters into the hydrogen cluster. But not only this, we also provide policy support. We do policy gap assessments. We're also trying to identify the capacity needs within the government and also at the private sector. We also started to work on skills to try to understand what are the skills needed in the workforce to do this change. And in the meantime, we also try to support specific pilots with specific studies or technical assessments that they might require in order to move forward. So happy to engage later in more discussions and tell you what we're doing.
Thank you very much. Now I'm coming to you, Steph, and I know UK, it's close to my heart for many other reasons, including my daughter living there. But I would like to see you even more working with us. What can you tell us from the UK government perspective?
Thank you, Mirela. Yeah, lovely to be here, and thank you again for hosting. So yeah, I'm Steph Mudd. I'm from the UK government, the Department of Energy Security and Net Zero, and it's an exciting time for the UK because we have a new government began this summer, and we are very focused on clean energy. We have a hope to be a clean energy superpower, and to achieve this, we're very interested in clean hydrogen, and so my team specifically looks at international engagements, and we're dedicated and proud to co-lead the Clean Hydrogen Mission directed under Piero. In-house, we are doing a lot of public funding behind clean hydrogen projects, developing our own innovative technologies, and on the video you could see some of our excellent work in Orkney, Scotland. We're really proud of what was happening in there, and we're also developing our clean energy systems around industrial clusters, trying to decarbonize them first. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And last but not least, Ohira-san. Really happy that you join us today. We had an excellent workshop already yesterday to somehow proceed already with the first step in our bilateral collaboration. But on top of that, what can you tell us from Japan?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mirela-san, to invite me. It's very quite important and workshop, and I'm very happy to working with internet global friends. And I'm Ohira from NEDO. I'm in charge of the NEDO's hydrogen fuel cell program. NEDO is a kind of the funding agency under the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry to promote national R&D project. And we didn't have any research function. We collaborate with the industry, academia, any kind of the stakeholder. We plan, develop, and formulate and manage a national R&D project. And the hydrogen is just a part of our activities, but quite important. Now we have the history about the hydrogen. We started the first hydrogen project in 1981. That we focus on the stationary fuel cells. And after 2 decades, from the 2014, we expanded our activities, hydrogen production, storage, and storage, transport, and utilization for mobility, and not only mobility, but the stationary usage, sometimes in the feedstock, etc., etc. And we also are working at play as a kind of the hub, and hub for the policy and implementation or researchers. And also we are kind of the hub for international collaboration. We joined the IPHE and IEA and TCPs, and also we contribute to the mission and innovation. Yes, and we are conducting several projects, and this year with 150 million euros, and we contract 400. We made the contracts and the subsidies. It's very difficult to prioritize in the technological area, but I would like to say that integration, that's our keyword. And kind of the integration, and the kind of energy system integration, it's like a hydrogen battery, and not limited to the energy system, but I would say any other integration such as project and project integration. For instance, for fuel cell R&D project, we are conducting several demonstration projects, but we have faced several challenges and testing such kind of technology in the real field. We can feedback to the kind of fundamental researches. In the fundamental research, we conducting some kind of the analysis or reaction mechanism. We conducting the evaluation technologies, and it's kind of the catchball and between the demonstration and the fundamental research. It's a kind of the integration. And also, we are not regulatory bodies, but we strongly contribute to develop the regulation and code and standards. We provide some kind of technical data, so promoting the develop, sometimes deregulation of the code and standards. It's also the kind of integration. And another integration, also international collaboration. It's not limited to collaboration. I would like to say that collaboration about the knowledge, the integration about the knowledge is to develop the new kind of the values. So, essentially, this integration is kind of quite wide, but I would say that we need to promote kind of integration.
Thank you. And like I said, although we collaborated for at least 20 years, same like with our partners from US, I really look forward to really go and focus even more in the next years and really try to tackle some of the R&I challenges, which I would like to identify now with all of you. I'm going to go back to you. I will not do the same, but for the first question, Luigi, what do you think are the most significant gaps in hydrogen technologies that need to be addressed in Europe? So from the Europe side, from Hydrogen Europe Research, I know you've done a book, I will call it. What would be, in your opinion, the more significant research gaps or the most significant research gaps?
Thank you, Mirela, for the question. Yes, I can announce that as Hydrogen Europe researcher, we have prepared an updated position paper with the priorities for research in Europe that we see for the next years. This, of course, is collecting several priorities all over the value chain, because hydrogen is not a vertical technology. We need to produce efficiently hydrogen. You know that Europe has a priority on renewable hydrogen, so developing the so-called RFNBO, renewable fuel of not biologic origin, through electrolysis. And electrolysis is one of the most important pillars to develop novel solutions in Europe. As Hydrogen Europe Research in the Clean Hydrogen Partnership, we are supporting, collaborating with the industry, the development of novel technologies that could be not only more performant and less expensive, but even that could solve some potential issues related to the use of critical raw materials. For example, I was mentioning before the use of iridium on the oxygen reduction reaction in PEM electrolyzers. Iridium has a cost of 50 euros per gram, and we are using more or less a loading of 1 to 2 grams per watt. It means that we are investing in the stacks something around 125 euros only through iridium. But there's a perspective, and we are supporting some projects, particularly the strategic research challenge to reduce CRM and iridium on electrolysis technologies. We are introducing novel solutions to reduce of the order of magnitude the loading of iridium into PEM electrolyzers. Of course, this will require several years of research and involving maybe even other materials that, for example, are the scandium for the solid oxide electrolyzers. So the CRM is one important aspect of research. Even advanced materials that are not considered so rare but are expensive, like titanium for bipolar plates, could be then sold through novel electrolysis technologies like the anionic exchange membrane electrolysis. There's yet a support on this technology, but of course we need to mature step by step a robust solution that could be not only performing, so having high energy density, but even long durability. And bringing together all of these conditions is not easy and will take probably some time. We are even supporting the development of integrated complex technologies like proton conductive ceramic cells that could not only produce hydrogen at high temperature, medium high temperature, but even introducing in the cell novel features like pressurization, filtering hydrogen, separation hydrogen, and maybe even co-synthesis of hydrogen carriers, for example, ammonia, in the same cell. In the priorities, of course, there's even one, there are some important targets on the sustainability. One of the challenges today and for the coming years is to substitute the fluoropolymers due to the PFAS ban from the European Commission on PEM electrolyzers again. As Hydrogen Europe researcher, we are taking a scientific position on the impact of fluoropolymers, and in few months we will publish a monography on the impact of fluoropolymers on the environment coming from the use in manufacturing and the overall value chain. Finding alternative solutions is not so easy because or we have even better performing solutions, or we have long durability but not with so high performance solutions. So we need to find a compromise in between performances and durability in one single technology. Of course, the priorities then are moving along all the value chain. I will not enter into all the details. The book is available for all of you at our joint booth of Hydrogen Europe Research with the Clean Hydrogen Partnership, Hydrogen Europe and the Commission, and so you can take a copy. Another priority is hydrogen storage. The last one I would like to mention. Hydrogen storage, in few years we are very close even to demonstrate the potential use of underground depleted gas basins after several research actions in qualifying the potential degradation of hydrogen due to biological or chemical or mechanical structural constraints of the underground basis. We qualify the potential use of hydrogen in this basis, and in few years from now we can test in an approved project the charging and unloading of hydrogen from a full-scale basins for 100 tons of hydrogen that will be utilized. We need to go to the next generation of solutions. We are looking to have a new generation of technologies in the medium-long term, even in novel architecture of cell electrolysis cells. So finding new mediators, redox mediators, solving the so-called holy grail of the hydrogen sector, which is the oxygen reduction reaction, using different compounds than hydrogen and decoupling the reactions at the anode and the cathode. Of course, there are some research ongoing in this sector, but probably we need additional support to find alternative electrolytic cells that could be at the same time performing, but even using less complex reactions in place.
Thank you. Thank you. And I will have a lot of other questions, but I would like to give the opportunity also to the other panelists to say a few things. To me, these look very long term. And I would like to get, and it's good that they are long term, because I think we need to continue to develop the technology. But let me go to you, Dr. Satyapal. Do you see the same challenges in US? Are these, I mean, when you look at the strategic priorities of US, are you seeing some of those that we have in Europe?
Yes, definitely. So, very familiar. But maybe first I'll mention the U.S. National Clean Hydrogen Strategy. And maybe I can ask, how many of you have seen the U.S. National Clean Hydrogen Strategy? Okay, maybe 5 or 10%. So maybe I'll just summarize it in 1 minute. So basically, if you need to remember one thing, you can remember 50 by 50. So our national goals are 50 million metric tons of clean hydrogen by 2050. And today, the US produces about 10 million, roughly 10 million metric tons, but almost all of it is from natural gas and without CCS. And in fact, it's the second largest producer on the planet of hydrogen, right? China's first. And so our national goals are 10 million metric tons of clean hydrogen by 2030, and then double that, 20 million metric tons of clean hydrogen by 2040, and then 50 by 50. And it's not just how much hydrogen we could produce, but we also have extensive scenario analysis on how much we could consume as well, and that's not even including potential exports. So we've looked at all the different sectors. Most of the hydrogen today is ammonia, fertilizer refining. We've also looked at heavy-duty trucks, long-haul trucks, sustainable aviation fuels, long-duration energy storage, and other biofuels, of course, ammonia. High temperature heat. So we have different market segments, and that's how we get the potential 50 million. And also, just for awareness, if we can successfully get 50 million metric tons, that would enable 10% of total emissions reduction. So for example, if you're trying to get to net zero by 2050, 10% is huge. But one other thing, in the US, we say clean hydrogen. So we're trying to stay away from colors, of really focus on the carbon intensity. So, you know, not really the green. You know, we're looking at fossil with CCS, nuclear, just all the possible options. And for all of them, you know, we have very similar challenges, you know, very similar. Iridium, that's why I mentioned we started this new recovery recycling consortium, and actually we're funding European companies also as part of that. And then we also have a national, how many people have heard of hydrogen shots? Oh, not that many. So we launched, just like the moonshot from over half a century ago, we launched this Energy Earth Shots initiative, and there's only a handful of you know, Energy Earth Shots, and Hydrogen Shot was the first one, with this really easy to remember goal of 111. So $1 for 1 kilogram of clean hydrogen in 1 decade, which now is actually 2031, because we started this a while ago. And again, in the US, hydrogen is only $1.50. So if we are really going to be competitive, we have to get the cost down to, you know, at least roughly that amount. And so that also, we have, you know, so many different examples of research, innovation, but it's also about scale. So some of you might have heard of our Hydrogen Hub activity, and we even created a whole new office of clean energy demonstrations, not just for hydrogen, but all the deployment. So we'll have 7 hubs. Valleys will contribute to mission innovation for $7 billion. So we have 7 regions across the country that will have production, various end use, and of course the infrastructure. So it's really both about the research and innovation, but also about the scale up, manufacturing, and all of that to help cost come down.
Thank you, Sunita. I come back to you, Ohira-san. On the Japan side, on the other part of the world, do you see the same key focus areas? What would be for you the key focus areas for Japan in terms of research and innovation? Would that be similar to Europe? Would that be similar to Japan? To US, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry, and I can hear, but if you understand you correct, and I talk about Japan's kind of the policy.
Yeah,
and,
priorities.
Yes, and yes, like US, like Europe, we Japan have the hydrogen policy and the hydrogen strategies, and we have the very kind of challenging target, which is 3 million ton, 20 million tons in 2050 and 12 million tons in 2040. It's the clean and the hydrogens. But unfortunately, and you know, the Japan is a very resource poor country, and even in a renewable, we try to expand the renewable and instead in the nuclear. But we somehow need to import hydrogens. Also, and we also have the cost target with $3 per kilogram in 2020, and $2 in the 2040, and the hydrogen cost output. That's including hydrogen production and transfer their kind of liquid form and or shipping from the outside Japan to the Japan and handling output. So we need to work for every part to reduce the cost. Because when we work on the hydrogen production, so main type in the hydrogen production, for instance, we try to expand in our electrolysis, and we also have the electrolysis target in the 15 gigawatt in 2030. And for the hydrogen transport, and we are working for the several types of the hydrogen carrier, so like liquid hydrogen carrier and liquid organic hydrogen and carrier, or any kind of one. We are not investing a huge amount of money to demonstrate what kind of scaling up this kind of hydrogen transport activities. For utilization side, well, we expect the power sector and in Japan and the first off-taker to develop the enhance and the hydrogen demand. We will collaborate with the Japan's power company and using the hydrogen, sometimes ammonia, for the conventional and combustion and power generation like gas turbine and coal-fired plants. Also, they are expanding the hydrogen utilization in transportation sector, like U.S. also they focus recognize the importance of the heavy-duty vehicles. And there are many challenges of the heavy-duty vehicle. One is fuel cell itself. So we have the fuel cell, but it's for the passenger vehicles, and it's lifetime is 5,000 hours maybe. And but we need to increase in the lifetime the durability, right? But the 50,000 hours, almost 10 times higher than current level. And yes, we collaborate in the OEMs. We back to basic approaches. We invested for the from the material designs. And then on the other hand, refueling technology is also quite important. Now we have refueling technology for 5 kilogram hydrogen in 3 minutes, but not enough for heavy duty trucks. So we need 80 kilogram and 100 kilogram hydrogen refueling in 10 minutes. But there are many types of the refueling technology, like Japan choose the middle flow, dual nozzle, and hydrogen refueling. Well, we just set up the new testing facilities, so we're collecting some data. We would like to share our knowledge, our data to the global stakeholder to develop the kind of international refueling standards. This is the current recent activities.
Thank you, Ohira-san. Before I go, we heard from Hydrogen Europe Research in Europe, we heard from US, we heard from Japan. I will go to you, Pere. We heard governments, we heard researchers. How the industry could contribute to overcoming all these technical challenges?
So I think, can you hear me well?
Yeah.
I have the feeling that it doesn't work.
I have the same feeling, but yeah, we hear you.
Okay. So I think it depends on the type of industry.
Yeah.
So if you are a technology developer or an innovator or a startup, you need to keep pushing to develop new technologies. And we're doing that. And in fact, we need to do that because, as Luigi said before, 35% of the technologies are not ready to decarbonize. I even heard 50% of the technologies are not ready if we want to achieve the 2050 goals. So we need to keep inventing and doing research and developing technologies. That's on the side of the technology developers. Now, the end users, we have a different role. The infrastructure companies have a different role. And in my opinion, the role of the end users is to help the disruptors, to help the technology provider developers, to help these startups to prove and to scale up these technologies in real environments. And I think that's very, very important. So, for instance, as I mentioned before, we have these testing platforms in our facilities in which we will allow companies, we will allow startups to prove their technologies. And that's a way to take some technological risk, and we need to take some technological risk. Now, and here is where the public sector comes in. I think the public sector, on the other hand, should become the glue between the innovators, the startups, the technology developers, and the end users. Because at the end of the day, end users, we can take some technological risk, and we have to take some technological risk, and some economic risk, of course. But I think given the fact that it's global, it's European, it's very necessary goals, and there is a lot of public funding available, the public funding sector becomes the glue and basically are de-risking from an economic perspective.
Thank you. And now I'm coming to you, Steph. We heard from all of them, and I would like now to bring if you want, the chapeau concept of this international collaboration and mission innovation, for example. What role do you believe international cooperation and such partnerships like mission innovation could play in advancing all these issues that we somehow commonly share? And yeah, exactly, what role would you see for mission innovation in particular?
Thank you. Yeah, I think everyone here agrees that international collaboration is really important for progressing our innovation. By joining up, we expand our resources, our expertise and capabilities. mission innovation is an excellent way for us to do this, providing existing pathways and structures for countries to work together is an important part of this. Through our clean hydrogen mission, we unite also the 23 member countries and also our own individual countries, which are laser focused on clean hydrogen innovation. And what we aim to do is, so our recent survey on our R&I priorities of our members have identified specific synergies where we can work together to target specific areas. And also our working groups bring together key actors in this area to catalyze action. And so just providing structure to a passion which we all have and we all aimed for the same goal. Having those structures there, such as the Clean Hydrogen Mission, is really useful, and particularly for the UK, because it means we can collaborate on a much wider scale. So we value bilateral relationships, but these multilateral ones are really powerful as well. So we also value our additions from Japan. So they've recently done a workshop on hydrogen production, which was getting key technologies out there. And what we bring is a vast amount of governments to the table. So we also want to, as Pere said, provide that glue between industry and government. And I think Clean Hydrogen Mission does a really valuable job on that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Steph. On the side of United Nations, if I can somehow ask you the same, but even more, how can, in your opinion, international organizations, for example, could facilitate the knowledge transfer between the different nations, I will even say, in the world?
Yes. I think international organizations, in general, all kinds of partnerships will be extremely helpful for the uptake and the development of hydrogen in all countries, not only in the global south or in the global north. I think the way we see it, I will not say the countries, maybe this is some little gossip. We saw at some point we engaged with someone who said, yeah, but why should we collaborate? Because they are our competitors. Yeah? And then we were like, look, there's no competitors right now. There's enough market for everyone. So let's worry about that in the future. And by then, it will be the market who will take care of the situation. So when it comes to the knowledge transfer and how to support the Global South on their transition, perhaps, I think there are both ways, because I think that there is also opportunity for Europe to learn from what's happening in the Global South as well. Some countries are very advanced. If you see the Middle East, they are moving really fast. They act a little bit faster. What we do in UNIDO is that we have open dialogues with our member states, constant, at least once a year, in which we invite them and we let them know what's happening, hoping that this also creates environment so that they can exchange. What we are foreseeing in the future is to have, at least with the countries participating directly in our working group, is to engage in particular thematic areas, working groups in which they can discuss on policies, they can discuss on innovation, they can discuss on certifications and standards. Because you have to sometimes cluster it a little bit so that the communication and the information flows a little bit easier. And then, of course, you can also come to all these global level events like the Hydrogen Week or COP or any other SEM, all the different events in which you can make sure that there is open space for everyone. So, and then when it comes to support the implementation of the technologies locally, of course, when it comes to the Global South, technical assistance and financial support is required. I think everywhere hydrogen, the technologies, perhaps electrolyzers are not new, but the application at this scale is new. And on the other hand, also, we are asking, and this also goes to the industries in Europe, we are asking them, for example, the steel sector to change a process that they have been doing for the past 100 years to change it in 10, which is not really that easy. And so the off-takers need support, the producers of hydrogen need support, and sometimes what we see, maybe this is a bit of a complaint from my side, but there's all this climate finance available, and we sit down with them and they're like, but are we really the ones who should be doing this? And we're like, yes, you are the ones who should be doing this, because then then we just go to a normal bank. So even today in the morning, there were discussions on the CBAM and all the different mechanisms that will be required. But even for establishing this, there's need also for capacity building and skills. I met with, recently I was in Morocco, I met with OCP. They are very ambitious. One of the largest producers of fertilizers. And they have already identified a group of people in the refineries that could be transitioned to work in the production of ammonia. But you are talking that these people are very knowledgeable and have experience, yes, on normal chemical industrial processes, but they do not have it on so when we talk about skills development in general, it's not only about having the degrees or the trainings on these, it goes beyond, so that you make sure that the people have the experience on doing this. So for answer your questions, for transferring the technologies and the knowledge, you need, of course, partnerships, you need technical assistance, you need capacity building, and you need financial support.
Very nicely summarized, thank you very much. Now you, Piero. I think, and as a director of Mission Innovation, Mission on Hydrogen, what other, for example, what international collaboration are essential in your opinion, and is the Mission Innovation the only one? Are these type of collaborations those that the Commission sees in looking together, in working together with other parts of the world?
Well, I think
it's
working.
Try, yeah.
So that's good. No, well, I think that multilateral cooperation is essential, and but bilateral cooperation among key players, it's also an important part of our international world. So I see, well, there are obviously big key players all over the world, international organization, UNIDO, IPHE, the SAM, Clean Energy Ministerial. Mission Innovation has the ambition also to be there. And, well, they have to interact, in my view, always in a positive way. And, well, to strengthen this international cooperation, I see mainly, three things that I consider are very important. First of all, the setting up of joint funding calls. These are very helpful to put scientists from all over the world together, but even more to put the people that are deciding the topic, the subject of the calls together. So this favors a discussion, an interaction. And then, well, open science. Open science in Europe has been one of the key factors to spread the knowledge. And, well, we consider that it's also very important all over the world. Because, well, I've been working many years in developing countries and really realized that in research centers, universities, this is really an important issue. Then another point is on hydrogen valleys, or hubs, as our American friends are calling them. And, well, this should be a real example of R&I partnership across borders. I like very much, and here at the Hydrogen Week, we have some example. I like very much the idea to cooperate, to set up hydrogen valleys across borders involving different countries. People are working to work together and to make partnership. And then, well, obviously, the last one is an appeal to the stakeholders, to the governments, to join International Hydrogen Organization. As I said before, it's essential to work together to joint effort and develop a global hydrogen economy.
Thank you very much. I don't want to be the only one putting questions because I think we have to benefit from having them. And I apologize, I'm losing my voice as I continue speaking. And I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow and the day after. But I would like to also, to spare my voice, give you the opportunity to put questions to my dear panelists. Who would like to start? Are there any questions? Otherwise, I have 2 pages of questions, so I'm okay. But if you would like to put a question to any of the panelists, please raise your hand, introduce yourself, and shoot. No questions? Are you afraid? No? Clear? Okay, good. But then I come back to you, and maybe meanwhile you think about, I'll coming back to you. In your opinion, Sunita, Dr. Satyapal, do you see, because we hear from Piero, joint funding, we've tried to do joint funding. Do you see this as a good way to collaborate? For example, we heard about, and we talk about PFAS, how we can address PFAS. We hear from our Japanese colleagues, we hear from you, we hear in Europe. Do you think this is the perfect way to do it? How can we do it?
Yeah, no, thank you. And we did actually, so we've tried, I think one of the challenges I think that many countries face is that, we use, U.S. taxpayer dollars for our funding, so it's really difficult to send the funding, outside the U.S., and you have the same, issue here.
Yeah.
And so in the past, as you know, years ago, we issued in our call for proposals, we can say that we strongly encourage partnership, but there are many challenges from a practical perspective because the timing is sometimes off. So we have had examples of specific project companies like Plug Power, for instance, and collaboration, but it is a little bit challenging just from a practical point of view because we all have certain rules and regulations, financial assistance. But there was actually one case just during Climate Week that we had announced with our wind. So my office is hydrogen fuel cells, and one of my sister offices is the wind energy office. And they actually did announce a joint call with the Danish government for co-funding. So that is something that maybe we can look at. But even if it's not, there's a lot involved with actually sending the funding abroad. But even just co-funding on each side, I think is something that could be an option. How do we streamline the process? But I think one thing I wanted to go back to on the international partnership, if I could, because there's so many international partnerships. And I think many know IEA, which was established in the 1970s, I think, originally. And we have the TCPs, Technology Collaboration Platforms, both on fuel cells, advanced fuel cells, and hydrogen. And then in 2003, so 21 years ago, that's when IPHE was formed, specifically for a government partnership only on hydrogen, because the other partnerships have many other subjects within them. And then in 2019, I think it was that Canada led the Clean Energy Ministerial Hydrogen Initiative. And there too, there's the Global Hydrogen report that IEA does, and the International Hydrogen Trade Forum, the Netherlands launched. We also supported H2 Twin Cities, so to connect cities or communities. So that's under SAM. And then Mission Innovation launched in 2021, and not to duplicate the R&D already with the TCPs, but having the hydrogen valleys. And at that time, there was a goal saying, how do we all rally around a common goal of $2 a kilogram for hydrogen, not just produced, but also delivered and dispensed. And of course the valleys complements. And so I think and there's so many partnerships that, actually how many people here are involved in any international partnership on hydrogen?
Oh, wow.
So one of at COP, I think 2 or 3 years ago now, the Breakthrough Agenda was launched in the UK, and many countries are, again, that's not another partnership, but it's really a framework to help coordinate across the different partnerships. And so we share, in fact, partly why I'm here this week, and many of our colleagues here, is the IPHE steering committee meeting, which is going on. And then each of these different partners will present, and IPHE also helps to coordinate. So when we asked, and because I've been in the industry so many decades, when we asked all of you in industry and then government, we asked, what's the highest priority for all of you on hydrogen? Like here we have industry, government, billions of dollars worth, right? Lots of new players, which we need, and then all of the existing players. And so we asked, what are the highest priorities for us to do together? And then we have a list of 5 priorities now. So standards and certification, research and innovation is one, the financing, demand creation. So we have these different partnerships that have the lead, the authority, working with others to really address those issues. And so just stay tuned with the Breakthrough Agenda. The idea is to provide that framework so you can more easily see, who's doing what and how do we make sure we avoid duplication. So I just wanted to mention that. And so I think here, of course, the great example is the focus on the research and innovation and what more is needed, but looking at it within the context of the larger collaboration and making sure that we, avoid the duplication.
Yeah, thank you, Sunita. Questions? Yes, wonderful. It's a mic coming to you.
I have a question for Dr. Sunita.
Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, sorry. My name is Svetlana. I'm from PwC Belgium. And so we heard Pere and Piero talk about open science for companies in the EU. What is the US position on open science for hydrogen?
So I think we don't necessarily have the same type of terminology. So I think for us, we fund a lot of the pre-competitive research and innovation. So I think in many ways it's very similar. There's a lot of especially with our national labs and even some of the industry or university projects that we fund. So there's just a strong focus on making as much information available and public. So I think in many ways there's similarities there.
Thank you, Pere.
No, I can specify a little bit more when I was talking about open innovation. I think for the TSO, for instance, the transmission system operators, we all share the same problems. We all have the same obstacles and issues to move forward to the new molecules and so on and so forth. So, but we don't compete with each other because each one is taking a different country. So for instance, in Europe now, among the main TSOs across all the different countries, we have started what we call the TSO Innovation Club. And the idea is to share knowledge. And the idea is to also de-risk potential pilots and potential tests because we will all benefit from these results. So it doesn't make sense that it's just one of us who invest heavily on one specific technology when we will all benefit, and it makes sense that we do it together. And I think the TSO is a clear example and maybe an easy one because we are very similar and we don't compete with each other, but I think we could find other sectors that could have a similar approach.
Luigi?
Sorry, maybe if I can
Yes,
quickly just
first.
say one thing.
Yeah.
Like in the U.S., as an example, like we launched consortia. We have national laboratories, and so we did one called High Blend, for instance, and HMAT for hydrogen materials. There are maybe 30, 40 companies that are part of that. And so when it comes to testing, looking at materials compatibility with blends, it's not quite the same thing, but that's just one example of how we provide that consortia approach for transparency and openness.
Thank you. Luigi?
Yeah, another perspective is to support the private sector, even small, medium enterprises that cannot invest in large-scale infrastructures, but are in need to validate their technologies, even to finalize the engineering and find the best marketable solutions. So in Hydrogen Europe Research, we are doing a mapping of research and technology infrastructures that are available in Europe, opening, sharing this information, what could be tested where, even identifying eventual gaps. But we see a trend that in Europe, research and technology infrastructures are going step by step to the relevant industrial scale, even beyond the megawatt scale to test technologies. And this could be made available to the private sector on a confidentiality basis of relationships, so that the enterprise can be confident that what is developed and tested is protected by the IP and knowledge point of view until the technology could be available for the market. So these technology infrastructures are even identifying a role which is not exactly that of the researcher, but the role of the innovator. So using scientific excellence, of course, but working with industrial methodology in terms of timing and way to collaborate with the industrial partner and players. So this is something that is growing in Europe, particularly to accelerate the development and deployment of the technologies into the market, particularly in a pool approach with the industrial partners and stakeholders.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other question from the audience? No? Fine. I go back to you, Piero. How do you see the cross-border hydrogen valleys? And I guess you are also thinking about between continents.
Well, this is obviously an important and essential issue. Well, in Europe, we have several cross-border hydrogen valley, and we see it. And for what concern a global view, what we notice when we analyze the data of the survey on R&I priorities, and we receive a reply from 21 countries all over the world, so we had the full picture. And what it appeared very clear that while in the northern hemisphere there is a main focus on local production and local use, at the same time for the southern hemisphere there is more interest to use renewable sources that are available over there to produce hydrogen and possibly export it to the north. So we had the clear examples, just to mention some, Chile, or what else? We have Australia. We have now Namibia that show a big interest to set up their hydrogen valley. In Brazil also we have some ongoing experience. So we have several examples all over the global south with an interest to export their hydrogen to the northern, to the most developed countries. So this is an option.
Thank you. I was guessing that's what you are referring to. And I hope that the Valley platform that we put in place for the mission innovation and we are continuously supporting will help to identify where is the production and where is the demand so that we can start connecting the hydrogen valleys not only within Europe but across the continents. Now, because we only have less than 2 minutes, and we have to close, I will go the other way around and start with you, Ohira-san. And in very, let's say, 20 seconds, 20, 30 seconds, if you have to pick one thing that you would like to collaborate with us or with anybody here, what would be for you tomorrow the challenge that you would like to address first?
Right, and 20 minutes, right. I would like to fill the gap. And now there are a lot of gaps like hydrogen cost gap, expectation, and sometimes in the distance. We need to best effort to fill the gaps. Thank you.
Thank you. Steph, the same question.
Yeah, I think so for us, we're very interested in hydrogen for shipping. So with the Clean Hydrogen Mission, we're very interested in spreading knowledge globally on how we can use hydrogen at ports and spreading demand that way.
Thank you. Same question.
Yeah, I think from our side would be on see how we create synergies so that we promote the local application of hydrogen in both, and not only aiming to the export of hydrogen, but also of green goods. Perhaps that would bring benefit for all of that. That would be like a win-win situation.
Thank you. Pere?
I think that we all agree that the ultimate goal is green hydrogen. If we need to put colors, basically electrolyzers with solar and wind energy. But we know it's going to take a little bit of time. In the meantime, we can start with what we call low carbon hydrogen. And I think we should start enabling them. We need to have a very clear framework in which we can start using them, because those are technologies that are mostly ready today. And most importantly, not all the countries in Europe have renewable resources, meaning solar and wind, but all of them have waste. All of them have biofeedstocks that can be used to make hydrogen, and that would enable this hydrogen economy to start as soon as possible. And the other thing is that in order to do that, we need a clear strategy to manage the carbon. We will make carbon, biogenic or not, but we'll make carbon, and this carbon can be used to make very good stuff. We can make sustainable aviation fuels. We can make materials like graphite that, in fact, there is a shortage in Europe. So we should also think in that way, and we should have a very clear regulatory framework and strategy, and of course, mindset, so we can push these technologies forward, starting as soon as possible.
Okay. Piero,
Okay.
tomorrow.
Focus, yeah. Focus on skill. So
Yes.
I would like to put together all the hydrogen academy all over the world, have a database, set up a network of hydrogen academies.
Excellent. If you are interested in that subject, it's the next session, so don't leave. Sunita?
I agree with everything, but if I have to say one thing to complement, I would say the supply chain, because we still don't have enough companies, all the different components, and then we have to get low-cost hydrogen, but also the delivery and storage and dispensing is still a gap.
Thank you. And Luigi?
Yes, I have a two very fast. One is related to the pre-normative research to identify even global standards. This sector will become soon global, and so this is important. The other is to analyze and find solutions for the use of materials, even those that are not critical today, at the full market development. Just to make an example, if we are going only to electrify, we should build new mines of copper, doubling the copper every 3 years until full decarbonization at a global scale. So there are very big challenges at the international level in the use of materials at full market development.
Thank you very much, and I would like to thank you all again. I think we could have talked for the whole week just about that, but at least for me and for my team, you've given us a lot of food for thought, and we really look forward to continue working with all of you, bilaterally, multilaterally, and on many, many things that we have, again, named them here, including hydrogen valleys. So I would like to give another round of applause to our panelists. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, if you would like, you can stay here, or you take a place in the audience as you would like, because I have decided to stop the panel 10 minutes before. Don't leave the meeting. We are still having important things to show to you, because we would like to, we would like to now conclude this session with the signature of 2 MOUs, Memorandum of Understanding, to even collaborate further, like you've seen. And the first one will be between Mission Innovation and Clean Hydrogen Partnership, our organization, and I would like for that to invite on stage my director, Valerie Bouillon-Dalport, and Piero Venturi, director of Clean Hydrogen Mission, of the Mission Innovation. And I'm looking at my team, it's coming, the thing for you to sign.
Come, Piero, don't be shy. Okay, I would like to take the opportunity to thank all the participants to this session, but also the stakeholders for your presence and your support. I'm really glad that we're going to sign with Mission Innovation, and let me remind you a few things, because hydrogen valleys are very dear and are at the heart now of what we're doing within the Clean Hydrogen Partnership. We have been supporting the European Commission in its co-lead role of Mission Innovation since the beginning. We have also launched the Hydrogen Valley platform in 2020, and the idea is to contribute to Mission Innovation 2.0 in its ambition to establish 100 hydrogen valley around the world. 100. Do you know how many are already there? Nearly 100. And 70 of these hydrogen valleys are in Europe. So we did a very good job altogether. And the Clean Hydrogen Partnership did its work, because within the Clean Hydrogen Partnership, through our calls, we funded 16 hydrogen valleys in 15 different countries. We'll have 6 additional valleys this year. And it's really a wish to contribute to pushing even further, sharing best practice, exchanging learnings, and building together ambitious goals. And within our Hydrogen Valley Facility Hub, to contribute as well to Mission Innovation Platform. That's why we're so pleased to sign this Memorandum of Agreement with Mission Innovation. And on top of that, don't forget, tomorrow, at the end of the day, there will be Innovation Award, and there will be an award for the best valley. So, Piero.
Yeah, thanks. Well, as you can see, I'm very consistent because one of the key issues I raised before, it was the relevance of cooperating with other international organizations, be involved, and now I'm here to sign a memorandum of understanding with the joint undertaking that, well, belonging to the Commission is very close to my heart. We work together, but it's good to make it official, to make it clear that we have a strong cooperation. Joint undertaking, the Clean Hydrogen Partnership is doing a fantastic job. Focus on European level on Hydrogen Valley. It's a great source of information for us, for all of us, in Mission Innovation. And we want also to strengthen this cooperation, to talk together the way to improve, well, the database, but also the hydrogen valleys all over the world. Thanks, Valerie, for this.
Yeah, and I think we need to sign.
Yeah,
so
really.
You sign first. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a second one.
We have the second one.
That's the other one.
That's the other one.
Okay.
Okay, we're done.
Only one?
Maybe we can take. Yeah.
Only one?
You will sign another one. You
Okay.
stay on stage.
Yeah.
Maybe we can have a picture.
Yeah, exactly. Open it. Take the thing. Excellent. We have one more collaboration to follow up on. So, good. I would like to now ask you, Piero, to stay here and invite a representative of United Nations, UNIDO, for the second signature between Mission Innovation and UNIDO. If you would like to say a few words.
Yes, thank you very much. Very happy, honored to be here again this year at the EU Green Hydrogen Week. Last year, we were very honored to be in the opening together with the President of the Commission, Mrs. von der Leyen. And today, this year, we come back in many events, but so very happy to be here to sign this joint declaration. I think what has been already presented is very important. You know, we need to accelerate the uptake of clean hydrogen. And in UNIDO, we have developed the concept of hydrogen clusters, which is very similar to the hydrogen valleys and also maybe the hydrogen hub. So we're very happy to work together with the Mission Innovation, Clean Hydrogen Innovation, to work together in several directions, both on research, on collaboration, on trying to accelerate the awareness about clean hydrogen, about also trying to find the finance for it, which is key. I'm very happy that also UNIDO has signed with the government of UK a big program of $80 million to support what we call accelerate to demonstrate, which is about the uptake of clean technologies in the energy sector. So very happy to be here and to launch this new cooperation. We met a few months ago and said we really have to work together. The objective, I will say, 1,000, hydrogen valleys. I think that's a good objective that we are ready to work together. Thank you. So
I'm told these are the other ones, so you will get new ones.
Thank you very much. Oops.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah, it's like here.
like here. So you want to? And we're the 19. Yeah. No, for the picture we can maybe.
Take this.
Yeah.
And then you can take a
And
picture.
then we
open one.
we open one or we exchange.
Excellent. Thank you very much to you. And like I said, really looking forward to further collaborate and work together on research and innovation. Right in time, 2 minutes until the next session. And I would like you to take this time, grab something, water, coffee, and hope to see you back here in 2 minutes because we will continue talking. And the last session of today, it's about skills. Thank you.